What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gamescast now, episode 92, topic 1. I'm Alex. This is our conversational gaming show, a show that airs every other week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, where I talk about random gaming topics. And something I do like to do quite often on the show is talk about future games in a specific series. I've talked a lot about that, as well as just talking about games that I wish could be announced or games that I think are in development that aren't out yet. Games like BioShock, Harry Potter, Batman, Arkham games, things like that. But I do like to look at a lot of franchises and then talk about the next game in them. I think this one is a smaller franchise. I think this game is something that you kind of really have to be into it or into the genre or something like that in order to, I think, honestly appreciate how good this game is, and we'll talk about that. But also, again, it's a smaller game. It's a game not as many people bought, so I feel like less people would watch and even be interested. So I do very much appreciate any of you guys that are watching this video. I honestly do. Gravity Rush 3. Are we getting it? When are we getting it? What's the deal? Stuff like that. That's what I talk about in this video. Gravity Rush, to me, is such a fantastic franchise. I own the PlayStation Vita. I didn't buy it when it first came out. I bought it around a year after it came out for Christmas. And Gravity Rush, to me, in my opinion, is one of the greatest PlayStation Vita games out there. It is not, I think, the best PlayStation Vita game, but it's easily in my top 5, I would say, PlayStation Vita games. It's so phenomenal. Now, I didn't beat it. I played a little bit of it. Gravity Rush 2 came out on the PS4, I believe, in January of 2017. So it's a little over 2.5 years old. At the time we actually played it, we actually covered it on the channel. It was before we were, I was going to say big. We're not big, but we, 23-ish thousand subscribers is decent. But back then, I believe we had under 1,000, okay, when this game came out. So next to nobody watched those videos I made of it. But me, personally, I played that game, and I absolutely loved Gravity Rush 2. It's one of the few games that I've actually beaten. Now, if you know me from the channel, but if you don't, hi, I do not beat games. I have a very hard time starting a game from start to finish, going through the entire thing and finishing it. There's just so many games out there. I don't have as much time. I don't have the dedication that I once did. It's very hard for me to beat games, and Gravity Rush is a longer game, but I can tell you I sunk, I believe, around 35 to 40 hours. I did most of the side missions. I did most of the side things you could do in that game in Gravity Rush 2. I played around 35 to 40 hours, and I beat it. It's one of the few games, probably 10 to 15 games in my entire life that I beat, that I played over 30 hours of. It's a special game, and honestly, it really was a special game to me because I wouldn't have done that for a lot of other games. I just told you I don't do it for other games. So I absolutely adored Gravity Rush 2. I thought it was one of the best games of 2017. It was just so special. It did everything Gravity Rush 1 did, but improved upon it. And visually, the art style of that game is some of my favorite, looking games out there. I talk a lot about it. Like the cell shading of a game like Legend of Zelda or Ni no Kuni and games like that. Those are my favorite looking games besides the realistic games. Besides games like Uncharted, The Last of Us back in the day, things like that. These are my favorite kind of games, and Gravity Rush just has such an amazing art style, and then like the comic strip kind of feature that game had as well. Love it. I honestly love the game, and back in the day, I remember looking up, well, what, could we get a third one? Because Gravity Rush 2 sold, but it didn't light the world on fire. I think it was a game that had to jump from the Vita of a very small player base that actually played that game on the Vita to the PS4. Again, exclusive to both. It came out and you could only buy it on PS4, so you're not selling it to as many people as you could if you're selling it to everybody. But it's the people that supported you. Ideally, you're selling it to the people that supported you on the PlayStation Vita. And I think it sold decently, but I don't think it sold all that amazing. And that's just my opinion of what I think the numbers actually are. I remember the director saying that he would very much be interested in making a Gravity Rush 3. The biggest thing about it is that he couldn't do it until technology advanced, until it got to the next generation of consoles. So this is honestly intriguing to me because I kind of forgot that he said that. Forgot that was a thing. Gravity Rush 3 was never possible, or never going to happen on the PlayStation 4. It would take to the PS5. The question is, with the PS5 right around the corner, it's only a year away, will this actually happen? Could this be a thing that we actually do get? And honestly, guys, I pray that we can. I think that it's not going to sell amazing. It's not going to get everybody that buy. It's not going to sell half the copies that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 would sell. It just won't. But I think Gravity Rush is just such a phenomenal franchise, and the second one especially, such a phenomenal game that it's like you got to. Who stops at 2? Who stops at the second game of a franchise, right? They left the door open to be able to play as both characters. They left the door open story-wise too, and I think they really need to continue. I think they need to kind of finish the storyline here. And again, this couldn't happen on PS4 because he basically said he was going to wait and kind of wait it out and see. Well, PS5 now comes out, next fall. So October, November. Could this game be a game that we get in a year or two after that? Now, Gravity Rush 2 came out again in 2017. By the time we even get to the PS5, it'll almost have been 4 years since it came out. So, could they be working on it already? Or are they working on another game and maybe their plan is that eventually they'll go back to Gravity Rush? I don't know. I would assume that would be the case because I don't think you're working 4 to 5 years on Gravity Rush 3. I don't think it's a game that would take, firstly, and maybe it does, but I don't think it's a game that would take that long to make. And I don't think it's a game that you would kind of like just devour your life and put into making when you have to wait that long and it's going to take that long. I think it's something where maybe they would want to work on something else, make another game, have that game come out, and then jump into Gravity Rush 3 because also, again, it doesn't sell all that well, so you can't, it's really tough. It screams Resistance to me, where Resistance, especially around Resistance 2, and definitely when Resistance 3 came out, where it's like you kind of know the book's closing. Resistance was bundled with the PlayStation 3 for such a long time. I actually bought the PS3 bundle that came with Resistance and MotorStorm, and nobody bought Resistance. Resistance 2 came out, did a lot of things good, changed a lot of things, hurt the game a little bit because of some of the things they changed. Not a lot of people bought it. Very few people bought it. They kind of were like, all right, well, we're not stopping at 2. We have a story to tell. Obviously, 2 ended on such a big note with him killing the main character of Resistance 1 and 2. So then you go into Resistance 3, and that game was phenomenal. I love Resistance 3. I think it's one of the best PlayStation games, exclusive PlayStation games ever made. They made it. It had a great multiplayer mode, had a great story. I beat it. I played the multiplayer quite a bit. I think I prestiged or whatever it did in that time, and nobody bought Resistance 3. And then Insomniac was like, all right, well, we're done. We're not going to make these games anymore. We can't. They kind of split off from Sony at that point, right? They went to Microsoft eventually afterwards to make Sunset Overdrive. They came back for Spider-Man, but they went through a lot, and because nobody bought those games. I don't see this being the same case, mainly because I'm pretty sure Gravity Rush is made by Sony Japan, right? An internal studio, first-party studio, so it's not like they can leave them. But if I'm Sony, if I'm the one wanting to make money, I think Sony respects developers. I think Sony helps developers, and they want them to make the games that they want. They want them to put their work and work really hard on games that mean something to them, and hopefully that translates into sales. I believe all that, but at the end of the day, it's also a business. The higher ups at Sony want money. You can make The Last of Us all you want, and they'll give them all the time, but if all of a sudden it sells like 1 million copies instead of 10 million, there's going to be things said and things discussed about the future because you can't do that. That's just the money aspect of the business. So when it comes to Gravity Rush, it's like, I'm sure they want to. I'm sure you don't make 2 games in a franchise and not want to make 3. You don't make 2 games and not want to continue telling the story in general. And I'm sure Sony wants to give them the chance. I'm sure the developers want to do it. But at the same time, you look at it and it's like, well, these games don't sell. They're not selling. Do we put the resources and allow this studio 2 to 3 years where we give them all this money, and maybe not even money, but we give them all this time to make a game that we know probably won't sell all that well? Or do we tell them, hey, we know you like Gravity Rush. We know there's a small group of people out there, gamers, that love Gravity Rush, but we need you to make something else. Come up with something else. See if that sells because we need to make some money. And I feel like that's not being harsh. That's not being mean. That's just the way the gaming industry is. And I think that's the case there where it's like, well, we could make Gravity Rush, but is it going to sell like 1 million copies? Is that good enough? Is that worth 3 years of a team's lives and 3 years of payment. We have to pay you guys all salary. We have to support the game. We have to do marketing for the game. We have to do all that stuff. It's going to come out on the PS5, the next generation. You kind of, this is going to be your first game showing people what you can do on the next console for us, and you're going to make Gravity Rush 3. A lot of questions there. A lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty, I think, where it's like, I don't know. I don't know if you can do that. So it's tough. I want it to happen. I really honestly do. I hope it's only a few years out. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to want to be looking for quotes from the director of Gravity Rush when the PS5 is out and see if there's anything. See if this is like, all right, well, I told you guys I wanted to wait till the next console, and here we are, so let's make it. I don't know, but I really hope that does happen. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you want a Gravity Rush 3? Did you love Gravity Rush 1 and 2? What do you think about the future of that franchise? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching these topics of Gamescast. Now, again, they air every other week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So Wednesday we'll have a brand new topic for you, and I hope to see you guys there.